Brave in the Water, written by Stephanie Wildman, illustrated by Jenni Feidler-Aguilar, translated by Cecilia Populus-Udave.
Hi everybody, glad to be here with you today. This is Stephanie Wildman and I'm the author of Brave in the Water.
Hi, I'm Jenni Feidler-Aguilar and I'm the illustrator for Valiente en el Agua, which is also translated by Cecilia Populus-Udave. So Stephanie, what inspired you to write this story?
Swimming has been really important in our family for a number of different reasons. And my daughter and son were both very involved in swimming. And I grew up afraid of the water. I didn't learn to swim until I was 26 years old. I was in a place in California that's very hot in the summer. And the entire legal staff would go to the community college pool. And it was so hot that even I would get in the water. And I'd stand there like this because I was terrified. There was a lifeguard there who was 20. Swimming was her whole life. She just couldn't imagine that somebody couldn't swim. And she worked with me all summer. But it was because I was old enough to be able to say, I'm afraid. I also have a pretty active yoga practice, and the ideas just came together as a way for a child to try to overcome fear, or anyone overcome fear. So Jenni, I just love the way that you brought the words to life in this story. You just made it better than I ever could have imagined. So, and I know that you also have a connection to swimming and to water. Would you say a little bit about that?
I actually grew up competing in swim teams and spending a lot of time in the water, being from Arizona where it's very hot in the summer. Learning how to swim when I was young was something that was really important to my family. I also, when I was in high school, I was a lifeguard and then ended up becoming a swim instructor. That came in really handy when my two daughters became old enough to learn how to swim, because then I taught them myself how to swim, and we all love swimming in the water together. I think it's really brilliant the way that you brought pranayama breathing, the practice of that, into the story, and I feel like that's something that our readers can really take away from this. I know that that's something that I've tried with my daughters as well, is taking deep breaths to calm yourself before trying something different. Has there been a time where you've had to be brave and overcome a fear?
Yes, I am still afraid of heights. So one way to overcome that, so my husband wanted to do a helicopter ride when we went to Hawaii. Oh, honey, I don't know. Then I started to think about it. And I mean, you know what? Let's just do it, okay? And not only did I book a helicopter ride, I booked one with the doors off. I was like, are you crazy? Let's just do it.
What a way to overcome your fear. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it again. It's done.
Stephanie, would you be able to demonstrate for our readers what pranayama breathing is like?
Would. Pranayama breathing can be any kind of measured breathing, controlling the breath. But I recommend for someone who's trying it in the beginning to do a simple 5 count. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What do you think is one of the most important safety tips around water?
Well, of course, learning to swim is the first thing. Part of why I was so afraid is I grew up afraid. My parents didn't know how to swim. So they were afraid that we would drown, and so they made us afraid. But really the best way to not drown is to know how to swim. But once you are around water, I would say the most important rule is don't be alone. Don't swim alone. Don't try to be brave that way and show you can do it. Always have someone know where you are, who can swim, who's there with you.
You know, teaching children at such an early age, anything, swimming, languages, is so key. So start them early with responsible adults, people who teach swimming, Don't teach them not to be afraid of the water, and just teach them, it's nothing to be afraid of. You've got these tools, and let's do it and be safe.
I wanted to ask you about your drawing process, because you created these gorgeous illustrations. Particularly the peacock plays a real important role in this book.
There's a lot that goes into creating illustrations that happens before I even get paint to the paper, which all of these illustrations I did do with acrylic paint. First, I had to research. I did a lot of studies of peacocks and little boys about Deontay's age, and a lot of studies of water and pools, and just parks and playgrounds. Anything that I thought I might include in my illustration, I sketched them out. Once I knew exactly what the scene would look like, I went in and painted them. What was something that you enjoyed about translating this book?
Well, honestly, I loved seeing your illustrations, which were
thank you.
And that got me excited. And of course, originally it was Stephanie's book, her words. And I first started translating the book without the images. And so, I translated it and it was like, okay, it's pretty straightforward. But then when I saw the images, it kind of just brought everything together, and it was a cohesive work. And then it got me more excited. So to see Stephanie's words come to life via your drawings just brought me in one more time. So I was able to see the story with a brand new set of eyes. And that's what made it very exciting for me to translate.
Can you describe the process you went through to decide on the name Abby?
Yes. So in Spanish-speaking cultures, very few children call their grandmother abuela. It's very formal, and it really just doesn't happen. So I told her, mostly kids call their grandma abuelita. It's like kids in English speaking cultures, I don't think they call their grandmother, right? It's kind of weird to see like a 4 or 5-year-old say, hey, grandmother. It's like grandma or granny or some sort of nickname like that. So I told her, I would call my grandmother tita. And, it would just have to be some sort of like a nickname, a cariño, a name that it's like a sweet thing to say to somebody. So we started talking and, what do you think? Abuelita, Lita, Abby. And she's like, oh, that's what my grandkids call me. As a boom, we made the connection there. And I said, okay, then it's a no-brainer. It should be Abby. And it fit perfectly. And she was happy and I was happy. And it was great.
Thank you, Jenni, for inviting me to be here with you to talk about Brave in the Water. Please ask your local library to order a copy of the book.
We'd also like to say a big thank you to Lolly Publishing.